If you've got low self-esteem, if you've got, I'm going to guess, fear, anxiety, a lack of confidence, a lack of all that stuff, I guess you're thinking it's only me. But you're wrong, because it affects everyone. But, and there's a but, we don't normally use buts here, but there's a but. Having confidence, having a high self-esteem, feeling comfortable in the uncomfortable, doing stuff that just creates wonderful things in your life. That's common too. That's what you should expect, can expect, and that's what we do here at the Personal Development Unplugged podcast. It's all about taking you from anxiety all the way to supreme inner confidence. A confidence in yourself, being congruent, being aligned, basically being the real you and singing from your real voice. I know they're buzzwords, but in this podcast, we mean it. Being authentic, finding that real you, and loving life, creating the life you want, getting what you want. So if that's what you want, you're in the right place. With me, Paul Clough. Who am I? Very quickly, I'm a hypnotist. I do NLP, I'm a trainer of NLP, and I do timeline therapy and a lot of other stuff in your mind. And what we do here is deconstruct the things that people do great, working out their strategies and transferring them into us with easy processes. So breaking down what they do, find a process that creates that. Or we deconstruct what you do, the things you don't like, and how to change them into things you do like. What you're frightened of, making that into something that you're okay with and able to use. So that's of interest to you, to become comfortable, to have high self-esteem, and to have the courage to be you with all the confidence that you have. I know you have. You're in the right place with me, Paul. I thank you for your time, and I'm sure when you listen to the podcast, you're going to take some golden nuggets away with you. So enjoy with my compliments. Hey, my friend, here's your heads up. It's a longer podcast. It's quite a long one. It's another bloody goal-setting workshop. No, it isn't. But what it will do is it will lay the foundations to creating your reality, to making wishes, dreams, goals, the things you want to be, want to do, want to have, the foundations of making them happen. All you have to do is, press play after this. I know it's important, so please do.
Warning. 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 You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, my friend. Sitting comfortably for, let's have a conversation. A conversation about, getting what you want in life. And there's an awful lot of pressure, I know, so much pressure on setting that goal. And I want to take the anxiety out of getting what you want. I want to give you a little roadmap, hopefully, to get what you want. Because we all hear about, you got to have a goal, you got to have goals, plural. And the pressure's on, isn't it? And the pressure's on when you don't get that goal. And that's the thing to me. It's that pain. The pain when you look back and you go, I wish I coulda, I shoulda. And really, there should be no pain because you didn't have a bloody goal in the first place. But the thing is, you're going to say now, oh, Cloughie, not another goal-setting workshop. And you're right. This isn't another goal-setting workshop. It's a Cloughie goal-setting workshop. Hell yeah. We can call it anything you like, really. Call it something different. It's an aim. Aims. It's a wish. Wishes. What you want to be, what you want to have, what you want to do. But you see, all of those things, an aim, a wish, those dreams of what you want to be and have and do, well, they all fade away, don't they? That was a fur there. They all just fade away if you don't take action. Now, you know that. I know that. Yet, I, like you, sometimes forget to take that decisive action. And why? Because I haven't done the foundations, the groundwork. See, we all have goals. The difference is, the ones we get are the ones we get with confidence. We may not be totally confident in the first place, but that confidence grows. The excitement is there to start off with, and that excitement changes to confidence. Fear disappears. Anxiety disappears. There'll always be that little bit of worry, maybe, am I quite going to get it, or is it going to be successful? But it depends what your goal is, isn't it? You see, here's the thing. And you might not like it, but you might. I want you to imagine. We all like imagining things. And just for a moment, okay? You might want to close your eyes. You don't have to for this thing. But if you do, make sure you're not driving, all that stuff. You know what I mean? You've got to be safe. You've got to look after yourself. But you can just think about this as you're walking along or doing whatever you want. Just stop for a moment and imagine going out into the future. And think, when you're way out into the future, you think, yeah, I had those thoughts. I had those goals, those aims, those wishes. I knew what I wanted to be, have, and do. But the thing is, swear word coming up, swear word alert, but you did fuck all about them. And yup, that's what it is. You haven't got them. You're in the future and you haven't got those dreams, wishes, because they did, just as I said, fade away. And yup, I wanted to shock you there because it breaks the pattern. Because the thing is, you now can imagine how bad that would feel, knowing that you could have done. You could have and you should have and all that stuff. You could have taken action. You could have taken one step, just one step towards that goal, that wish, that aim, how you want to be, what you want to have, what you want to do. But you wasted it. You may have wasted your time. And we've talked about what you spend your time on. You may have wasted those skills. And you've wasted that legacy that you could have created. That's a bummer, isn't it? That's a bummer. We're back to anxiety, low self-esteem and all that stuff. But here's the thing. Stop right now. I want you to stand up and shout, "Boom, Cluffy!" For no other reason, just to break your state. Because you see, that didn't bloody happen. It was your imagination. It didn't happen. But the thing is, now you know it could. If you don't start taking action on your dreams, on your wishes, on the things that you want to be, to have, to do. You didn't take action on that aim. And I know now, just think now, did that feel bad? If you didn't feel bad, do it again, because I want you to feel bad just for a moment. So you really go, hell no. Because I want you to think, well, okay, Cluffy, I want to be able to achieve those dreams, achieve my goals. I want to have an aim in mind that I'm going to go for and get. So no longer is it a wish, a dream. I'm going to create that dream, that reality, that wish, everything into my life. So let's look at it slightly differently, eh? So give a little shake and let's just look at it, as I say, a little differently. You see, I want to create something that, you see, goal setting is just a plan, isn't it? Or it should be. It's just a plan, but it's a plan with a bit of oomph, a bit of action, a bit of oomph. And the oomph, that's you, by the way. You're the oomph that makes this plan into reality. Because it's of value to you. It's important to you. So let's just start with just one thing. One thing you've got a dream about. One thing you would like to aim at. One thing that you'd wish to have come true. One thing that you want to be or have or do. One thing that you've got a goal for, if you will. You got that? Now, here's the thing. I only want to do one thing, just one thing, and that's it. But I know you're going to start whining. I don't know why, because I know I would whine. But I know you got to stop whining because you've got to write it out. Write that dream out. And you see, if you don't write it out, isn't that what you used to do with those dreams and wishes? You used to think about them. You used to talk about it. You used to, I'm going to do this tomorrow and I'll set this up and I know this, and you do fuck all about it. Well, this time I just want you to start to write it out. Now, if you want to, you can write it out in the present tense. And I have a bit of problem with that sometimes. I am now doing, because you're not. And your unconscious mind knows you're not. And it could go, yeah, great thought, Cluffy, but we're not doing it. You're not doing it right now. You're just writing. But the thing is, what writing in the present tense does, if you use your imagination, you can imagine what it would be like having achieved it. And achieving it, whatever it is, the result is the goal, the wish, the aim, the thing you want to do, have, be. Yeah? So sometimes writing it in the present tense just gives you the opportunity to get more specific from what you want. So you're not projecting it out there, you're actually in it for the moment. But the thing is, when you go in it for the moment, you know consciously and then unconsciously, you're going to come out of it and say, that's what I want. Maybe those words, this or something better, but that's what I want. And now you've got something to point at. So even if you haven't written it down just yet, and this is the process, you could do this by stopping and pausing and then moving on to this thing. Or you can take a note of the minute, listen to the rest of it so you get an idea what I'm going to be talking about, and then come back and do it again. Either way, if you want that dream to come true, you want that wish to come true, you want to create this reality, I really believe you've got to give it go because it works. So what I would have you do is pick that one thing, okay? You got that one goal, that dream, that wish, whatever you want to call it. And just for a moment, let's just visualize it as if it was being achieved right now. So this is where you would close your eyes. This is where you would just make sure you're going to be undisturbed for a moment, making sure that you're going to be safe. And then close your eyes and set your intention. Your intention is to imagine the most successful completion of this aim, this dream, this goal. And have a state of curiosity. So think of a time when you were really curious, get that feeling of curiosity. I've got that intention in mind. And now, initially, maybe just see a movie screen out in front of you. And on that movie screen is you. You're doing it. You're achieving that goal. And because it hasn't happened yet, doesn't matter about limiting beliefs, whether you can do it or whether you can't. You'll just imagine it has already happened, what it would be like if it were to happen. So the old negative beliefs can disappear because they're not warranted now. So just imagine away. Imagine seeing yourself over there. Imagine being with the people that you want to have in that dream with you. Imagine you could turn up the volume a little bit and hear your voice clearly, the things you'd be saying, the tone of your voice. Maybe there's excitement there. Maybe there's a confidence in your voice. Maybe you can see that feeling inside you of, I've got this. And as you do that, make that screen a little bigger. Maybe just double it for the time being. Double it right now. So that screen is huge. And you're seeing it in wonderful multicolours, a real spectrum of colours. And the sound is absolutely gorgeous. And you can get the feeling of that you out there on that screen, achieving the goal. And here's what I want you to do. Now float out of your body into that you. And as you just sit straight inside, looking through your own eyes, see what you'll see. See how you'll see the world, having achieved this dream. See how You make pictures in your mind of what new opportunities are going to be available to you, or how you're going to really celebrate this dream, this goal, this wish, this aim. Hear the words you'll be saying on the outside, and with that internal voice, that inner voice, how you speak to yourself, having already got it. Oh, this is gorgeous. And what does it feel like? Having already got it. Go through first of all, the physical sensations, the muscles, maybe the ease in which you walk, move, and then the emotions of having already got it right now. And as you look through those eyes, seeing what you'll see the people, see their reactions, see what you're doing to help them, to share with them in this experience. You're creating it. You are the creator of all of these experiences. And what does that make you feel like? And maybe you just want to give a word to this experience, the whole of this experience, so you can remember it in detail. So maybe just have one word come into your conscious mind. Maybe your unconscious mind will throw one up, or you'll just say it now. You might even want to press a finger and a thumb together just to anchor this feeling. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can. And then when you've got that word, you've got that feeling, and oh, it's so good. And you know exactly what it's going to be like. Because if it's not quite right, you can just tinker with it. Just change it slightly so you get in here the experience of getting the goal that you want, how you want it to be, how you want it to feel, how you want it to sound, smell and taste. And when you have all of that, open your eyes, come back to me, and now write it. Write that dream out. Do it in just bullet points or a mind map. But just write it all out, just so you can describe what you really want as an end goal, as it were. The last step. This is when I know I've got my goal. I might talk about that later. But this is when I really know that it's been achieved. Wouldn't that be awesome? And it will be awesome. You see, once you get that on paper, you know now where you're headed. But you haven't got a plan yet. But the first part of the plan is to be specific. And I'm sure you've probably heard of things like the SMART goal. I think everyone's heard of it. But if you haven't, it doesn't matter, so I'll quickly go through it with you. But just think, SMART, S. Is your goal relatively simple? And I say relatively because some goals can be a little bit complicated, but can you make it as simple as it needs to be? Only as simple as it needs to be. In simplicity, there's genius. Remember that. It's a saying that we have here at the Personal Development Unplugged podcast. Good old Albie Einstein, get it right, Paul? Gave it to us. In simplicity, there's genius. So is that goal, can you foresee, imagine that this is going to have some simple steps? And what have you written as a goal? Is it specific enough? Like, I just want more money. No, that's what you don't want. You don't want more money because $1, a cent, a penny, a pound is more money, but that's maybe not what you want. That was maybe not the best example because we don't always think of that as a reward for a goal, to make more money. But it's what allows you to earn more money when you're having fun, creating something in this world, sharing stuff, making a difference. So is it simple? And have you been really specific? And if you haven't, just go back and make sure that there's no fooling. This is exactly where you want to go. Then you've got the M in SMART. Is it measurable? Is it measurable so you know how close you are to that goal? Or how far away? Are you in the middle? Have you just taken the first step? 2/3 of the way? Are there going to be some milestones so you can measure your progress? Because what I'd hate to happen is for you to be that close to achieving your goal and for you to not realize it. Or for you to be that far away from it and take your foot off the pedal. So it's measurable. Well, there's a saying that you say, what gets measured gets done. So let's just get it done and let's use it. So that's the M. Then you've got the A. Can you act as if? Is it achievable? Well, who's to say it's achievable other than yourself? If you think it's achievable, I can go and do it. Can you act as if? We've talked about that in the 5 keys to success. Do you know? And you do know now because you've done that visualization. You know how to act as if you've achieved that goal, because that will give you the physiology and the psychology of excellence. And you'll just do it. Because that's what you do. When you act as if you're just doing it. You're not faking it till you make it, because we've talked about that so many bloody times, but you'll be acting as if. And the results come quicker, easier. Trust me. Then you've got the R, realistic. Is it realistic? Well, that's the same as achievable, I think. Just be honest with yourself. Is it realistic? I mean, if you're 80 and you want to win Wimbledon or the US Open in tennis, probably is achievable. It could be achievable, but realistically, probably not. But if you just want to improve your tennis to a level that is realistic, yeah, that's totally achievable and realistic. And the last one is timed, and timed means, a little bit like measurable, because we measure stuff in time as well. But timed is, to me, something that if you just say it's going to be tomorrow, tomorrow never comes. It's going to be next month, next year, next month never comes, because time slides. But if you say it's going to be September next year, it's going to be in 4 weeks' time, which is X, Y, Z, then you've got something to aim for, something to work back from. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But you've got something to say, well, this is now specific again. This is what I'm going for. And then you can realize, is that achievable? Is that realistic? Because, bless him, my elder son had lovely goals, but he would have 5 or 6 all together, and each one was realistically timed to be done in a month. But you put all 6 of them together, no way. And then he would fail on all 6, or not fail, but he wouldn't complete all 6. In fact, all 6 would not be as good as they could be. So again, you find out which one you want, which is most valuable to you, what's most important. Look at the timing of it. But the thing is, that timing is, don't make it longer than you think. Because I think Tony Robbins said it is, in the short term, we always think more than we think we can do more than we can in the short term. But in the long time, we give ourselves too long. So somewhere between the two. So if you put that date, ask yourself the question, is it possible to do it quicker? Honestly, is it possible? Or is it possible that this is too quick? Let's look for a realistic, achievable date. All works together, doesn't it? And you see, you start to get a grasp now, a grasp that this goal is going to happen. You can hold it, you can feel it, you can work towards it, you can see it, you can sense it, you got the emotion of it, you've got that excitement, the motivation, the value, the importance. You can even smell that taste of success. That's every blooming sense you can think of there in that sentence, because that's what you do. And then you go, well, if you've passed that little SMART test, go ahead again and just revisualize it again, because you've thought a little deeper now, haven't you? Because of that being more specific, what you're going to be measuring. So you can maybe just do a little timeline in your head and just take, for the next 30 seconds, bring back that imagination, that imagineering that you did a minute ago, and the thoughts that you've just written down about being simple, specific, measurable, how you would act as if, how realistic and achievable is, and when you're going to get it done. See the calendar moving, things like that. So it's reinforced. And when you do that, fire that anchor off again. Say that word. And then keep writing. And I say keep writing is because you've got more information now. On a mind map, you could start to formulate a few of the steps. Maybe you can do other things. And the other things are going to come right now. I'll go through it with you very quickly. But I've also got this as a process on the hypnosis part of my website. Remember, paulcloughonline.com/podcast. There you get admission. You get access to 50 plus processes, hypnosis and NLP. And one of them is I think it's keys to a wealth. It's either well-formed conditions, well-formed outcome. I think it's called well-formed outcome. Or it's keys to achievable outcome. I don't know which, but you'll see it. If I can find it, I will put it in the notes, but you'll find it if you get there. So you have to sign up for it. If you've signed up for it already, just go there. But I want to read it through, or just go through it with you, because it's good to go through in your mind. And you can write it down as well. So let's just run through them. And the thing is, if you need to take a break, just take a break for a moment. Because I'm always conscious that if we give too many steps, then sometimes we get confusion. It's a wonderful, one of my second or third hypnosis inductions was all about just confusing people into a trance, getting them to close down, to get them to think of more than 7 plus minus 2, 5 plus, I don't know. But I think it's 7 plus or minus 2 steps. If you do that, boom, people just go into trance because it's just overload. So if this is not overloaded and you're still excited to go forward and you've got your paper and pen, let's go for it. If not, take a break, come back, or just listen through and then come back again, remember? Because you'll be prepared for this. But all I want you to think of this, and you can do this in writing. I think it's good to do it in both ways. One, to follow what I'm saying now and write them out, and then go through that process online. It's hypnotic. And it gets your unconscious mind to go through what you've written down. And I think there's a double whammy in that. So you can either do it as a mind map, a list, or whatever. Mind maps are always the best, I think. I just love mind maps. You know I love mind maps. So here you are. Just think of this. So let's go back to that specific goal. And just make sure you know what you want, what you're aiming for, what you wish, what you want to do, be, or have. Is it specific? So what specifically do you want? Write that down if you haven't written it down already. And if you just think about it, where are you now in relation to that goal? Because this could be a goal that is part of your career. So you're in your career, you're moving along in your career, so you're halfway there already maybe. Or maybe it's like, I want to learn NLP. I know a little bit. I've done a few processes. I've read a little bit, but I don't really know it hands-on or be able to use it. I just want to know where you are. Let's associate into the now. Where exactly are we, you, in relation to this dream, this goal? Because it's good to know, because then you've got somewhere to measure from. You need a start and you need a finish. There'll be lots of places in the middle. Now, when you think about it, go back to that imagination, the Imagineering. Just make sure that could you act as if now? Act as if? Can you see it? Can you feel it? When you have that goal not in your grips, but you're actually doing it. And just make sure that you just understand that you can come back to it. Maybe just fire that anchor off again, say that word. And here's a good one. Again, it's part of that Imagineering, because if you notice, I didn't do the beginning, I didn't do the middle, we did the last step. How will you know that you've achieved this wish, this goal, how you want to be, all that stuff I said? Because I say this to my clients when they come and see me. One of the first questions, not the very first, but one of the first questions will be, how will you know when you've got your result? And again, it's part of that visualization for you, isn't it? How will you know? What is going to tell you that you've actually achieved it? So it's like the last milestone that you're going to measure. So you can have that wonderful celebration. I remember for me, this has just come to my mind, when I was in trainers training, I had this idea in my mind and I imagined it before I went away on the course. And it's a month-long course. And I knew there'd be a bit of a celebration with certificates and things like that. But I also knew that when I knew I really had it, I'd be sitting on some steps somewhere and I'd have that certificate in my hand and there'd just be me there. Just me, no one else. And I'd see my name. I'd see what it said about my certification and I'd see the people who signed it. And I'd be saying to myself, hey, Cluffy, We've only fucking gone and done it. We have only gone and done it. And that's how I would know. And then I forgot all about that, you see. And then I went to my training, did all the work, got the certificate, did all the yah and partying and things like that. And then I suddenly realised, because I was sitting on a step that I'd been sitting on for a whole month. I didn't realise it at that time, with that certificate in my hand saying, we've only fucking gone and done this, Cluffy. And it was exactly the same. And I just knew then I'd done it. So how will you know when you've done it? It's amazing when you do that, because it's like sending that signal to your unconscious mind. Now, sometimes I just want to make sure that what will this do for you? Just have a think. What will getting this outcome do for you? What will it allow you to do, to be? What opportunities would it bring? What riches will it bring? And then we think about, is it only for you? Because although this is your goal, your dream, who else will it affect? Maybe there's some selfless service there, that it's going to create different things for other people too. But who's going to get the ripples of this change? And is that ecological? Is it good for you, good for the people around you, and good for little old planet Earth? And we talked about that time thing, but also think about where you want this to have happened. Sometimes it means moving, different locations, different jobs maybe, I don't know, different careers. But where do you want this to be created? We've got the when. With whom? Maybe there's a little bit of how you want to create it. Just notice what comes up in your unconscious mind to your conscious mind for that, and just write these down. And then the important one, I think, which is sometimes overlooked, what resources are needed? What resources are needed? I mean, what resources do you have now? Go through all the things that you know. What have you read? What have you learnt? Is there something that you need materialistically? Is there some tools? Anything that you need? What have you got already? Because you might be, like I said, you're on this journey, this adventure. So what have you got already? And then you can find out, well, this is what, if I know what I've got, now I know the type of things I haven't got. And you're going to learn them a bit more specifically as you go through this dream, through the steps. But it's good to plan it now. The things that you need to support you in getting this outcome. And they could be things like, have you ever done this type of thing before? That's a skill. What happened? Or do you know somebody who has? Anyone that you could talk to, read about, see on YouTube, because they're resources. And through all of that, could you model that acting as if now, as if you have it? I know you can. That's a foregone conclusion. And then, and this sometimes is a bit out there, but we need to be there, is what is the purpose of this? What's the purpose? What's the intention? Why do you want it? Why do you want this dream? Why is it important to you? What is the value to you? Is it, well, I just like it? I know I've had some dreams like that where I go, oh, I'd like to be able to do that, but actually that's not that important to me. It's just something I'd like to have. I'm not prepared to put the effort in because it's not that valuable to me. But there's other stuff I've done, and I've gone 100% into it because it's so much value to me. It's so important to me. And that momentum then, because I know how important it is, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's 12, 15, 20. I just know I'm going to really go for it. So that's one thing to have a look at. And here's the other two type of questions. And the easy one is, what am I going to gain by this? What am I going to gain by achieving this goal? Now, you can even get things like, I can gain confidence just by doing this. It's not the most biggest goal in the world, but it'll give me more confidence. It'll be a step up. Or maybe give me more money, more riches. Maybe the experiences will be richer. Maybe it'll make me closer. Maybe it'll be in a relationship, all that stuff. So what am I going to gain from putting the effort into this? And then the next part of that is what I'm going to lose. So it could be that you would lose your anxiety. you'd lose your low self-esteem because you'd gain esteem. But the other thing is sometimes if it's like on a career, you might have to move. So you might lose the friends that you have right now, your colleagues. You might have to, because on the things you're going to lose, you might be happy to lose them. Other things you might have to mitigate to make sure that they're catered for. I know the biggest example is, I know there's so many people who want to be famous. What do they gain? They gain that famousness, but they sometimes gain a lot of hanger-ons, not necessarily true friendships, true support. What do they lose? True friendship, true support, privacy. Now you can mitigate that, but you need to know. And then you can see, well, once you've written those down, then you can go through that hypnosis process. So it's like an NLP process that you can do consciously and unconsciously. And it all starts to get together now. Now you're starting to get a plan. Are you? Because you haven't got a plan yet, have you? Hey, Cluffy, I thought this was a plan. No, this is not a plan. We have been doing the most important bit, the foundations of this plan. Because we've now made sure, because the last question is, do I bloody want this? Is this something I'm prepared to do? To put effort into? Basically to have the will to do whatever it takes to get the success, the result of this goal. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. Am I prepared to put the effort in to achieve this? And if the answer is yes, well, if it's no, then let it go. Don't waste your time. So many times, I don't know about you, but I know I haven't done this work. I've jumped in straight away, thinking it was a great thing. Didn't look at all this foundation, these steps, this part of the build, as it were, and found out halfway through that it wasn't that important to me and I didn't really want to. I didn't want to do it. I don't want to put the effort in. The result's not important to me, not of value. And I've wasted bloody time. Wasted my time. I might have learned a few things on the way, which is hopefully we do. We look back and go, how did I make that bad decision maybe? That not so good decision. What did I learn? How can I change that? But that's only a learning process. But if we'd have spent that time on things that are of value to us, it'd be so much better, wouldn't it? So here's how we start to do your plan. Really, Cluffy, you've finally got to it. Yes, we have. But we've got the steps. No, we haven't got the steps. You've got the foundations. How do I find the steps, Cluffy? Well, I'm not going to tell you step 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm going to tell you steps 4, 3, 2, 1. What the fuck are you talking about? Because this is how I think a plan should be planned. Plan from the end. Because you know what you need or know what you're going to achieve. You know what the end result is. And that's what we've been imagineering. This is the end result. And you can ask yourself then, what needs to happen just before that? And what needs to happen before that step? And then before that step? Now, you can make them quite big to start off with. So maybe you make them just 4 steps. What are the 4 major steps? What has to happen? What if the 4th step is the last step? What is like 3/4 of the way through? What would that milestone be in order? If it didn't happen, then obviously the last step wouldn't happen. So you have to get it. And then go back to halfway through. What would that step have to be for 3 to 2 to get to 4? And then what is the first step or the second step? And then whatever. But you know what I mean. You're coming back in steps. Now you've got a plan. And you can start to work on that plan. Because you've now got the steps. So now what I'd suggest you do is you've got a date, because we said it's going to be time. So the time goes at the end of 1. And if you're going to start today, you know what the date of that is. So you've got to start and a finish. And you've got some ideas. So maybe the first phase of it is going to take slightly longer, but once you get the momentum going, it's going to get faster. So you can put some milestone dates. And here's the trick. You've got to schedule this. Everyone knows you have. If you don't schedule this in your diary, that I'm going to start doing this work on this dream, this wish, whatever you're going to call it, give it a name. I'm going to start this I'm definitely going to start it on Monday coming, whatever it is, date of, month, whatever. It's in my diary. I've scheduled it out. I've blocked some time in. I'm going to block other time in that week. These are the times I want to work on that. Then you go, well, okay, what is the very first step, the smallest step I can do that's going to make that first section? So you can just find out what the end of that first section will be, maybe come backwards in steps and find the smallest step. Why the smallest step, Cluffy? Well, you see, most people try to do the biggest step first. They get overwhelmed because it's bloody difficult, or it's just complicated and I should have done the smaller steps first. And the thing is, if you do a small step, you're going to get success. And then you do another small step, and that success is breeding in itself. It's incubating. You're cultivating it. You're nurturing it. The belief now comes in, I can do this. And I've got my anchor, and I'm firing off my anchor. I'm seeing the big picture, because that's what you want to do. See the end state, the end of this goal as your big picture. And when you've got that feeling, does this step keep that feeling? If it does, I'm going to do that small step. And then I do the next. And you then just plot them down in your diary. And at the end of the week, you review it and make sure that you've done those steps. If you haven't, can you catch up? If not, you've got to alter your bloody plan, because there's no point in just letting it drag on. But visualize each step as well, because we did that visualization of the last step. So visualize the last step of the first step, if that makes sense, and then visualize the last step of the second step, and so on. So you can then get that motivation, the value. Measuring. And because if you go off course, then, because you're measuring it and you're aware, you can come back. And if you look, I'm sure if I haven't done it on the hypnosis tracks, the 5 keys to success. I'll go over them very quickly for you. But if you search that, you'll find it somewhere, I'm sure. But the first step is know your outcome. We've done that. Be specific. Second step, take action. Significant, intuitive, massive, and I always add in consistent action. So that's that, plotting it down, committing. Then being aware where you are. Well, that's that measuring, isn't it? Just in case you're off track, or if something comes along, a hurdle that you weren't aware of, something that you weren't quite, it's a little stumbling block, because we get these now and again. Shit happens. But now you're aware. The fourth step is being flexible. Flexible is going back to, do I know what I want? Yes, I do. Asking yourself the right questions. Well, how can I get there now? How can I get to that next step? Because there's always a way. What belief do I need? What resources do I need? It's like a mini well-formed outcome. And then the fifth of the 5 keys to success is having that physiology and psychology of excellence. The act as if. So if I'm acting as if I've already got it, I guarantee as best I can, you will find those steps. You will find if you've got somewhere to trip you up, you will get up and find another way, a better way. You will succeed. That's what it's all about. So if this was just another goal setting workshop, then you've been to some great workshops at goal setting. I can say that. But it's all here. And this is just the foundation of it. We can go deeply into it. If you have a goal, you have a dream that you want me to maybe just work on a few more steps or some processes that we can add into those steps. So bringing back your beliefs, getting the emotions, getting the behaviors aligned. Yeah, but you need to let me know. Because I'm a hypnotist, I'm not psychic. So, with that in mind, email me, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. Just email me, say, hey, Paul, doing those goal, that wonderful goals, a wonderful goal setting workshop you did online. It's a podcast. Maybe you could do one online for us. Maybe I could. Maybe do a webinar and things like that. Or, this is what I'm having trouble with. And then we'll come up with a process or some steps along the way. Or break it down or see it from a different way. There's so many different things we can do. But I need to know. So it'll remain anonymous, but I know it will help everyone in this group of ours. This little family, this community of unpluggers. Anyway, that being said, I want you, if you would, I know your time is precious and I am so bloody grateful that you're here with me. But if you would, please share this. Let's get everyone achieving their goals. So share this episode, share the rest, tell people about the rest of the Personal Development Unplugged podcast. So it just gets more people listening who can give more feedback and we can get bigger and better stuff. And if you would, again, I know time is precious, but if you would go to something like, is it Google Play or iTunes? I think they're the two biggest, or the same probably, and put a review up for us. If you would, it'll make a difference too. If you do a review and you do a little screenshot of it from your phone or your computer, send it to me by email at feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. Email. I'll send you something back in return, just like I've done with the others. Okay? Something special just for you. And that would be awesome if you would do it. So we've got sharing. We've got, what did I say? We've got sharing. We've got leaving a review, which would be awesome. Give me some feedback. That's another one we said. And the other one, the most important thing, is to sing from your real voice, to be you, and have the world, the life you deserve. And we have to create it. We've talked about creating your reality in a previous episode. This is part of creating your reality. Funny enough, and I don't plan this, but it's just like a string of things that just all come together. Weirdly, haphazardly, serendipity plays its part. I get a little bit of intuition, or I read something, or I hear a podcast, and suddenly 2 or 3 things come together and boom, my head goes all mashed and something comes out my mouth. And it's on a podcast to you. And remember, I'm now doing video newsletters. So if you'd like one of those, they only come out once a month, maybe a little bit quicker if there's things I've got to do. So instead of a 5-minute quickie, I might just do it as like a little newsletter, things I'm thinking of, things that have happened, things that I'm planning. So they'll only ever be maximum 10 minutes long, but generally about 5 minutes. Sign up to those hypnosis tracks, because when you do that, you're automatically put into the newsletter. Okay? So that's paulcloughonline.com/podcast. Emails are as safe as I can make them. And you don't get inundated with anything else from anybody else. And very much lastly, remember, paulcloughonline.com. There's my wonderful programs, done with such sensitivity and love, just for you. And there's a massive discount, and there's a money-back guarantee, so you've got nothing else to lose but unconfidence, your low self-esteem, and you get everything to gain, such as supreme inner confidence, high self-esteem, complete relaxation, being able to build an inner retreat in your mind, fantastic hypnosis tracks, and fantastic programs. And you get a little thing at the end of the newsletter and the end of the email I send you of how to get a massive discount on them. There you go. I cannot do any more. I'm so tired. Anyway, I'm off. Enjoy every heartbeat. Have more fun than you can stand. Okay. Bye-bye now.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.